June of 1912, a family returned home after an evening at church in the town of Villisca, Iowa. They went inside, closed the doors, and settled in for the night. By morning, the house was silent. No one inside had survived, and no one had clearly seen who had entered or left. In the early summer of 1912, the town of Villisca, Iowa, was a small, quiet community surrounded by farmland. Wooden houses lined the streets, and most residents knew one another by name. Life in Villisca followed a steady rhythm. Workdays were consistent, evenings were familiar, and gatherings such as church services brought people together at regular intervals throughout the week. There was little to suggest that anything unusual would happen there. Among the families living in the town was the Moore family. Josiah Moore, his wife Sarah, and their children lived in a modest house along one of the town's streets. Their routine was much like that of others in Villisca: work, school, church, and home. On the evening of June 9th, 1912, the Moore family attended a church service along with other members of the community. After the service ended, they returned home. Two young guests who had spent the evening with the family accompanied them back to the house. By the end of the night, 8 people were inside. The doors were closed, the lights were out, and the house became quiet. The night passed without notice. There were no reports of disturbance from neighbors. No one in the surrounding houses recalled hearing anything unusual. The town of Villisca moved through the evening as it always had, and by morning, the streets began to come to life again. Inside the Moore house, there was no movement. As the morning continued, it became clear that something was not right. A neighbor, noticing that the family had not begun their usual routine, approached the house to check on them. The doors were closed. The house remained quiet. When the neighbor entered, the silence inside did not change. The rooms appeared as they had been left the night before, but as they moved further into the house, it became clear that something had happened. The discovery spread quickly. Authorities were called, and as people began to gather outside, the house that had been just another home in Villisca became the center of attention. By the end of the morning, it was understood that all 8 people inside the house had been killed during the night. There were no clear signs of forced entry, no immediate explanation for how someone had entered the home or how they had left without being seen. The town, which had moved through the previous evening without interruption, now faced something it could not easily explain. As investigators moved through the Moore house, the rooms revealed a pattern that had been left undisturbed overnight. The interior of the home showed no signs of forced entry. Doors and windows appeared intact. There was no clear indication of how someone had entered or how they had left. Inside, the arrangement of the house remained familiar. Bedrooms, hallways, and common spaces were as they had been the evening before. But there were details that did not belong to an ordinary night. In several rooms, curtains had been drawn, mirrors were covered, objects had been moved or repositioned in ways that suggested deliberate action rather than disorder. The house itself had not been left in chaos. It had been altered. There were signs that someone had moved through the space after the family had gone to sleep. That movement was not rushed. It was not careless. It followed a path through the rooms of the house, one after another. In the kitchen, items suggested that the person had remained inside the home for some time. Nothing pointed to a hurried departure. nothing indicated that they had been interrupted. The house did not show the signs of a struggle that extended beyond its walls. Whatever had happened inside, it had remained contained. And by the time morning arrived, the person responsible was no longer there. As the news spread beyond Villisca, investigators and officials began examining the events surrounding the house and those who had been inside it. The initial focus was on anyone who might have had a connection to the family. Neighbors were questioned, travelers passing through the area were noted, and individuals who had been seen near the house in the days before the event were considered. But the information that emerged didn't form a clear picture. Instead, it moved in different directions. At times, attention turned toward individuals who had recently been in the area and then left without explanation. Some were questioned and later released. Others were connected to rumors that could not be confirmed. There were suggestions of personal motives, suggestions of random violence, suggestions of someone passing through the town who had no connection to it at all. Each possibility appeared to offer a partial explanation, but none of them accounted for everything. Over time, different suspects were brought forward. Some were formally investigated, some were discussed only in the community. In certain cases, individuals were accused and later cleared. In others, the details remained uncertain from the beginning. The investigation continued, but it did not arrive at a conclusion. No single account explained how the house had been entered without notice. No explanation clarified why the events inside the home had unfolded as they did. And no individual was ever confirmed as responsible. The case remained open, but incomplete. In the days that followed, the house in Villisca stood as it had before, unchanged from the outside, but no longer part of the ordinary rhythm of the town. People gathered along the street, not to enter, but to look. The structure itself had not been destroyed. It remained where it had always been, but it was no longer just a house. Inside, the rooms had been examined, documented, and then left behind. The details of what had been found there were recorded, but they did not provide a complete answer. Over time, the investigation moved beyond the town. Authorities revisited the case, new leads were considered, new names were introduced, but each time the result was the same. No conclusion held. No explanation accounted for everything that had been found inside the house. The story did not resolve. It remained in fragments, a series of details without a final connection. Today, the house in Villisca still stands. Visitors pass through the town. The structure remains visible from the street. From the outside, it appears no different from other homes built during the same period. But the events associated with it have not been fully explained. There is no confirmed account of who entered the house that night, no clear understanding of how they left without being seen, and no single version of events that brings the story to a close. Only a place, a night that passed without notice, and a morning that changed how it would be remembered. That was tonight's story. You've been listening to The Midnight Box. Wherever you are, thank you for listening. Good night.